I welcome to Prerona Television Canada on behalf of Global Academy of Holistic Leadership and Coaching. I would like to welcome you for our leadership speaker series. And today's our topic is Leadership and Organization Strategy Revisited, and is in episode 87. And it's been presented by Advocate Ziaur Rahman, who is the CEO of IITM and adjunct faculty of IUB. He has a lot of experience in academia and in the industry. He will be sharing with you a leadership and organizational strategy. As you know, our organization has been doing this leadership series for the last couple of years, and our aim is to share our knowledge and expertise to you all, so that leadership skills can be developed. As you know, the pre-COVID and post-COVID, the world, the new world, the leadership is one of the vital skills that need to be developed and that need to be taken care of. So I would like to welcome now Advocate Ziaur Rahman to continue his session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Edward Probir Mondal. I am speaking from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and welcome all of you in Canada and the rest of the world. We have been doing this session for quite some time. So we are on our 87th session, and it is on leadership and organizational strategy revisited. Previously, we had done a session on strategy and leadership. So I have made some alterations to the presentation here. And to start off, I want to mention, based on what Edward Probir Mondal had just said, that we have gone into a brave new world, and the world has changed fundamentally for forever. We are never going to go back to the old world. So the old system and the old methodology and the old mindset has been challenged due to the pandemic and other ancillary impacts that have gripped the world. So in this domain, in this new phase of the world, we have to start thinking how leadership has to be remodeled and how we have to grow ourselves to better adapt to the global changes due to the different hazards that are affecting us. So with that perspective in mind, we have to look at things in a much different light and framework. So moving into our presentation, let me start with some normal quotations. We normally have a few of them. So here, this is one from Rear Admiral Grace Murray HOPPE. We had covered this before. So you manage things, you lead people. It sounds simple, but when you really look at the powerful statement, when we are actually a leader, we just don't manage little things. We don't manage in many things. Actually, we are managing people in the sense that we're managing their aspirations. We are actually giving them hope for the future. We are actually telling them that it is you who will deliver the next result. We are not doing their part of the work. We are just inspiring them. So the thought of leaders is today's present condition is to actually give people enough motivation, enough energy, enough passion, enough voltage, so they can start to feel confident, so they can start to lead themselves. They can feel that it is I who can actually move the enterprise to the next level, or it is I who has a lot of new ideas that people will take into consideration, and people will feel happy, and through their support, I will champion a new outcome for society or for the business or for a political enterprise. So we have to be careful as not to fix ourselves as leader to be on a nitty-gritty path on managing the microsystems. Managing a micro environment will not allow you to really unfold your opportunity. You will not be able to unleash your prospect as a leader. So focus should be very much on managing aspirations, but promoting great leadership through inspiring these folks. So moving forward, Here is another one by Max Dupree. He says, the first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. The last is to say thank you. In between, the leader is a servant. It is again an interesting quotation. Why so? It is talking about you as a leader, where you are opening up the doors to the person who needs to be properly fed with information. So that's, you are giving them a reality check on what is the reality on the ground and where we stand and what we need to do to move forward. That's what you are presenting to the people, to your stakeholders in the beginning. But what this person is suggesting is that, and the next part is actually, you don't do much. You allow the team members to actually evolve, grow, and use their own capability and skills and knowledge to do the things in between. You just give them a big thank you at the end. In other words, you are actually opening the platter for them to take their own steps, their own imaginative steps, so that they start to grow as a leader. So that's truly the leader. In this last sentence, the leader has been championed as a servant. In this context, the servant in this context means that you're serving your community, you're serving their wishes. So if they fall into some kind of problem, you are out there, you're getting there on the right time and with the right set of tools and the right set of information, so they can again pick themselves up and move in the right direction. So you're serving for their growth. So if you take this entire sentence into context, we have to actually be there, not as a person who's guiding them on a day-to-day basis, on a hour-to-hour basis, but rather you will be there on the sideline, looking into their work activity, looking into their strategy and their way of doing things. If there is a gap and you see that they are faltering and they are really not being able to find the right direction, then you go and serve the people. So you are really a true leader when you are in the first premise, in the first context. You have communicated well enough with all the details so that the person is equipped and properly fed with the right set of information, so they can architect their future using the information that you have put out. But in the meantime, you don't indulge in any activity with them. You're just on the sideline as a mentor or as a coach or a philosopher, if you want to consider yourself a management philosopher in that kind of respect. You're just there waiting to see when they are doing something remarkable, then you don't have to worry about them. They proceed and they deliver the right set of results. Otherwise, you're there to serve, and therefore you are also a servant to them. So you're serving them when they need you, but you are mostly allowing them to grow on their own. So this is an impactful statement for leadership, and we have to start thinking at the back of our own minds, where is it that I can actually change my own perspective, my own way of communication? Where is it I can actually evolve? What are the tools that I don't use currently, but it has an impact in actually navigating the people in your enterprise to the next level? So this is a very interesting way of looking at things, where you are serving, you're not getting yourself involved in the process, you're allowing your team members to deliver by picking themselves up and by strengthening and bolstering their own capacity and their own skills. And in the process, they learn many new tools, many new ways of actually handling a situation and becoming a true leader. So you are making a transformation in their lives by being there, but not being directly involved with them on a day-to-day basis. Moving forward, this is by Kevin Kelly. When you forgive others, they may not notice, but you will heal. Forgiveness is not something to do for others. It is a gift for ourselves. It's again a powerful statement for a leader. When you are in the leadership position, you are driving your team members, you want to feel confident. At the same time, if there is some failure on someone else's, if you can quickly forgive them and move on, they will feel probably positive, but you will feel much more relieved. You will feel much more at ease that you have actually garnered enough energy, you've garnered enough strength of mind that you are able to forgive someone and allowing that person to work in the same capacity in which he or she was previously working. So you are a dignified spirit. You are like a uh, you are like a, let's say, someone who does not worry about small little trifling details. You are beyond that. You have actually mustered the level of energy where you can actually push yourself to the next level by forgiving the people. There is a statement called forgiveness is divine. So you're actually moving yourself to the next level at a spiritual level. If you want to consider yourself as a leader, not just on the present reality on the ground, but from a spiritual point of view. So this becomes a gift for yourself. Obviously, it's a gift for others as well, because if you are in a position to forgive, then others around you will feel so much more at ease. They will feel so much more confident. They will make mistakes. You have to allow people to make mistakes, but they will not be fearful of making mistakes. So they will immediately find ways to pick themselves up so that they can redefine their strategy and move away from the mistaken reality, and they can drive forward with a better outcome. So this is a definition. This is a quotation by Kevin Kelly. And as a leader, if we truly stick to these principles, to this set of rules, that forgiveness is great, not only for them, but for your own soul, then you actually lift yourself as a professional, as a leader. So as a human being, as a leader, you need to practice these on a daily basis in your own lives. So I suggest that every time you get into a trap where you feel upset by the actions of someone and you know that person may have done something incorrect or wrong, it's best to discuss, it's best to have an open dialogue and communication and allow them a form of forgiveness from your end so that they feel happier. Because when somebody does something wrong or does something which is not good, they feel upset, their confidence level goes down, they are constricted in their mindset, they don't evolve, they are not in their proper frame of mind. So obviously their output level, their productivity level, their efficiency will be at stake at that point. So as a leader, if you can quickly jump in through the forgiveness framework that we have just talking about, then that person will feel spirited again and jump back into the old person and actually try to do something better to correct what damage that had been done previously. And this would be very good for everyone around the person also, because the person around will also see that you as a leader, you are being very nice and sweet and you have been forgiving this person. So others will feel confident around you as well. And they will also feel that here is a champion who is having a great mindset, and therefore this is the organization or the environment in which I want to work and deliver more. This is a human psychology, basically. Moving forward, this is another quotation which I've picked up from the previous presentation. I just want to add a little bit different touch to it. What is leadership from our point of view, today's point of view? Leadership is about setting values within the organizational frameworks so everyone lifts his or her spirit to achieve the intended goals. At the end of leadership, it's about achieving goals. We know that. You don't want to be unsuccessful as a leader at the end of your career or at the end of a certain project. You want to lead, you want to grow, you want to make sure meaningful and impactful changes takes place due to your presence in the project or in the enterprise. So we have to keep this spirit going, that you are inculcating certain values within the organizational framework, so everyone is being spirited, everyone holds a certain passion, everyone drives themselves with the spirit that yes, this is a team, yes, we want to move forward, yes, I can actually deliver a good set of results within this enterprise. So this is about framing their energy. This is about giving them the passion to deliver more. So they are spirited, and ultimately the intended goal will be served. So as a professional, as a leader, if we can strongly think about these things on a regular basis and use these perspective in our daily work and endeavors, you will probably see meaningful and impactful changes. I would suggest for you to think about it, try it in your work enterprise, work environment, see if it's working. If it's working, then you know you're in the right set of journey. So think about these issues that I've reflected upon today, use them in your own enterprise, share it with others, share my thoughts with others, communicate them with these perspectives that I've just shared. You can add your own perspective as well, but use this as your forum to move forward as a leader. Moving forward, I've just changed a few of these slides, a few of the points. You have to share your vision and promote hope as a leader. If you are promoting and sharing proper articulated vision, then people will connect with you in a better way. People will know what is at stake, what needs to be done, and where is it that we want to arrive at. So this is done through sharing your passion, sharing your vision, and promoting hope to your team members. Building wisdom. You build your wisdom, and you also want to make sure the wisdom is transferred amongst your team members. And you want to actually have a collaborative wisdom, so you can actually engage in discussion and you can actually learn from each other. So you have to do this on a regular basis, and you have to encourage others to do the same. And this will create a symbiotic, more synergistic environment around you, and you will be a better leader. Motivate to raise energy levels. It's all about raising people's hope, raising people's energy and passion. So how do you do that? You have to constantly communicate. You have to motivate them. You have to give them the feeling that you are in the right path, you are in the right journey, you can make the meaningful change. You are just there to mentor and guide. So you have to do this on a regular basis, and people around you will feel more excited in this journey. They will feel that it is them who is actually championing this process. In this process, you also have to make sure they take risks, because you can't deliver extraordinary results by taking small incremental changes. An organization that is making small incremental changes are going to grow incrementally. But if you want to take your organization to the next level and set the tone of the organization to be a high-spirited, high-achieving organization, in that case, risk taking would be fundamental. Obviously, when you take risk, with risk comes reward, and with risk also comes failure. So you have to have this spirit that, yes, there would be moments of failure. You can't be upset. You have to immediately bounce back by, again, raising the energy level through motivation and driving their passions to deliver the intended results. So they will quickly bounce back. They will quickly get themselves out of the gutter, and they will move in the right path. And this will also must be seen in a positive way in your mindset. You can't be very much perplexed during the environment where things are not going proper, but you have to be in the journey with them, passionately driving them and telling them that this is something that is normal. Please continue on with your journey and you will deliver the right results. So these are these are issues where we have to think on a daily basis, where we are failing, where we are having problems. Are we using the right communication? Is our body language proper? Just by speaking things in a positive way, but your body language doesn't reflect the positive tone that is coming through your mouth, will not be will not deliver the intended result. So you have to have a combination of your spirit, your energy, and body level, showing that you allow risks, but you want to quickly come out of problems that have come out due to taking risk. But aggressive risk taking sometimes may not be the right way forward. Last but not the least, effective communication, properly presented communication during the entire process is vital. We know that most of great leaders spend a great amount of time communicating and guiding people on a regular basis. It's not dealing with them on a hourly basis, hour by hour basis, but it could be an input at the end of the day, or a session, or a week. It all depends on the high voltage environment and the technical expertise or the guidance level that needs to be inputted in the design for the future state of your organization. So moving forward, leadership and status quo. We know what status quo is. Status quo is something where you are stuck with the old system. Sometimes status quo is very much necessary. You don't want to tinker with too much change, because change may not deliver the intended result. But as a professional, as a leader, you really have to be able to see the future. You have to hold a proper perspective as to what the future may come about. So status quo sometimes is a friend, sometimes it's a foe. You don't want to be over glued on status quo, but you don't want to be in a position where you are again not using status quo and taking a lot of mistakes and making a lot of mistakes in the journey. That way, your overall focus, your overall motivation of the team will falter. You might motivate them a few times, but if the mistakes are repeated and you didn't really learn from your mistake, then ultimately it will crush your overall mindset. You don't want to be in that type of situation. Ego and leadership style clash. The clash between your ego and leadership style. This is something which is important. Your ego and your leadership style are pretty much yours, but you don't want your ego and your leadership style to clash with others. We have to understand that ego is a issue which many leaders hold in a large manner. They hold a lot of ego. Sometimes ego is good because it shows confidence, it shows your resolute strength in your motion to do something, but at the same time an ego can crush you. But when you have too much ego, you have to work with other leadership styles so that you can deflate ego. Inflated ego is not good, specifically if you're on a wrong journey and you don't know that you're going on a wrong journey and you're not listening in with your team members, your deputies. You don't want to be in those type of shoes. So it's a very difficult journey between ego and leadership. You don't want to have very little ego. In that case, you will be confused, you will be timid, you will not be moving with the right passion. You will be always in a non-confident mode. You don't want to be in that, but you don't want to be in an overly egoistic and negative perspective of high emotion and feeling that you are invincible and nobody can guide you in any direction. That is not a good direction. So leadership style clash and ego are vital, and you have to understand where you have to give in and at what level. The next point is high energy versus low impetus. You don't want to be in an extreme high energy. Why? Because you want to be in a high energy level to guide your people, to give them the passion and the motivation. But if you are way ahead of the game, they might feel frustrated. They might feel that they're losing you. and then they will feel that they are hopeless. They will feel that they are not ready for your leadership. So that is not a very good perspective of leadership. But at the same time, if you don't have if you don't have an impetus, a focus, a spirit that is reasonably high, that is reasonably pushing forward, then people will not feel excited. You want to keep them alive. You want to keep them spirited. You want to give them the right dosage of energy. So you have to be balancing between high energy, super high energy versus low impetus. Somewhere along the way, depending on the project, depending on the scope of work, you will have to sort of increase your energy level at times. Sometimes you have to decrease them, and sometimes you have to keep them constant. These depends on the level of the people with whom you're working, their passion, their energy, their mindset, etc. So it's a complicated equation. It's a complicated tool, but you have to be able to use it very appropriately so that you actually keep the people in a reasonably qualified energy level, so they deliver the right set of results for the organization. Leadership through a guided path. All of the above issues that we had just talked about is actually to guide people to the next level, guide your team member to the next level. So you want these things to take place in your environment. So moving forward, I would think that an organizational culture where leadership is paramount must be designed by you and your team members. So you have to be very confident about your team members. You have to know them by heart and give them this energy so that they can work with their different levels of energy. You have to have a culture, a vision culture, conundrum, and maze. This is what we're talking about. Your vision cannot be too obfuscated, too complicated. Then it becomes a conundrum. It will be a maze. It will be a place where they will get lost. So you don't want that to happen. So you have to have articulated vision. So the culture of driving with proper set of vision is very important. Corporate vision and cultural alignment. If your culture is driven by a different set of vision, that would be more appropriate. Then your corporate vision should be aligning with that cultural environment. Otherwise, it will be a discomfort and it will be a misfit. And ultimately, the intended result would not take place. And the journey of your team would be paved with frustration, paved with obstacles, and ultimately you will not achieve the intended output that you had designed at the beginning of the year or the 2-year strategic plan that you may have designed. Communication with clarity versus confusion. You have to be serious about clarity in communication, otherwise confusion will be a end result. And with confusion, the productivity and efficiency will fall and your results will be dangerous. You don't want to lead in an environment where confusion grips the organization. The reward structure is part of a proper organizational environment and culture. You want to have a system where you're rewarding success. Sometimes you have to reward people who are not doing as well because you want to lift themselves up as well. So you must have a reasonable level of reward structure so that you are building the right fabric within your organization. Moving forward, I've just finished the session. I normally end with $1 million question. So the $1 million question: is there a standard practice as to how much of management time should be spent on designing an organizational culture? I had actually discussed this in detail previously. I would just say that it depends on the organization. Every organization is unique. Every leadership team is unique. Every leader is unique. So you have to find your own balance. But I would think it would be no more than 30%, although don't hold me 100% with the percentages. But if you're spending too much time on designing your organizational culture, then what is your time to actually make it happen? You will be behind schedule. So you want to spend a reasonable amount of time in organizational cultural design, but it should not be a very large percentage. So 20 to 30%, and reasonable revisiting after 2 to 3 months, so that the vision can be slightly altered based on the game plan and the environment. So with that, I would like to end our session, and thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen who are watching from Bangladesh, India, and rest of the world, and including Canada and North America, thank you very much. And good luck to every one of you. I am CEO of IITM and adjunct faculty with IUB. And back to you, Edward Provimonto.
Great, thank you very much for your presentation. Yeah, on behalf of Prerona Television and Global Academy, it's our deepest appreciations, and also thank you for all the audience. With that, we conclude our session. So we'll be having our next session next week, and I'd like to welcome you to attend the sessions. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay blessed.
Thank you very much from Dhaka as well.